What's up, everyone? All right, well, here we are back at it. Another green day, some solid momentum this morning. I'm pleased. We're off to a pretty nice start here. So it's already Thursday. We're coming towards the end of the week. And today, what was interesting was we had some good action pre-market, and then at the bell, things got really choppy. I don't know. It's like we had great action, then just kind of stalled out. So let's look at the charts, and I'll show you what we're looking at. So for my big account today, I finished at $4,565.02. MINM was my biggest winner, $6,701.99 of profit on that stock, which is great. Was red on JFBR and OMGA. Both of them made moves, but neither of them were really easy for me to trade. I found them to be sort of choppy. I got chopped out on both of them, and then I got the trades on MINM. So why don't we look at MINM, since that was the sort of the most exciting one. Okay, so MINM. This stock has a history of popping and selling off. So I was a little hesitant on it this morning. We can look at the 10-second chart. Actually, first let's look at the scans. So MINM, it's got a float of less than 1 million shares. It's got 32 million shares of volume today. That's a ton of volume. Relative volume is 759. We've got a lot of relative volume too. So everything here checks out. This thing was moving. The only problem was that early on, it was kind of whippy. So it first popped up on the scanners. It's pretty early. It was like 7:15. Let's see, what time was it? Well, actually, it looks like it popped up here at about 6:58, and then it sold off, and then it came up and hit the scanners right here as it went up to a high of 346. So my first trade was right in here. So we got this nice dip, as you can see right here, and this gave us a move from about 320 all the way up to a high of 389, 390, which wasn't bad at all. But then look at this. It then drops down to 340. So a 50 cent dip. And even right here, it went from 3 to 340, back down to like 301, 40 cents, and then it pops up. So big ranges. It grinds a little higher to 420, dips back down to 396, pops up to a high of 437, and then pulls back. At that point, I drew, let's see, this ascending support line connecting these two dots. And I thought if it holds this, I might get a trade over 450. But it ends up, oops, I want to undo that. It ends up breaking down, selling off, coming down to the VWAP right around here. All right, so it sells off a little bit. And then we go sideways at volume weight average price, but we do end up curling back higher. So we're sideways here, but right here we break back up over 4. Got a nice trade here, back up to 420. Now on this one, the thing is, it popped up here and pulled back, but the longer it was basing out, the more I felt like this thing wanted to go. And very quickly it was retesting the high a day, but we rejected that level. I did try to take some trades up in this area, and I kept getting stopped out. I would get in and get right back out, get in, get right back out, because it wasn't breaking and pulling away. So then it drops back down again, back down towards this sort of VWAP level. It comes back up again, and actually on the 1 minute chart, I drew a trend line from here to here. And you see we come back up to it right about here, we fade. Back up to it here, and we fade. Back up to it here, and then finally we broke over it, and it tried to pull away. But you can see it did not go parabolic. It went higher, but it didn't really pull away. The interesting thing was this had some big sellers. And so what I would notice was that all of a sudden, it would be trading like, I don't know, 487. And then all of a sudden the ask would be 477. It would drop 10 cents. And then there'd be a little flush of selling. Basically, someone put a big sell order at 77. They sort of sweep the book down to 77, and then it's pinned there for a second. There's some panic selling. And then it kind of pops back up, goes back up to 97, and then it does it again down to 77. And it's like these big kind of instant drops, which are caused by one order sort of sweeping the book and then pinning at that price. And it kept happening. And it would be these 10, 15, 20 cent drops. And that made it really hard to manage risk, because at any time you knew that you could get one of these drops. So I started to just feel like I wasn't dialed in on the price action. Now, for those of you curious about my small account, I will be doing the small account episodes weekly. So those are going to get uploaded weekly. So you'll have to just stay tuned for the next upload, which will be next week. But I did trade in the small account today as well. So anyways, Warrior members are able to see that, but I'll upload those next week for YouTube. So MINM, it just was kind of choppy. And then look at this candle right here. This was bad. But if you didn't already have the warning signs, the red candle here, high volume red, high volume red, high volume red, another one here, another one even right here. The stock has been doing this. It's what it does. So what happened here? It breaks 520. It breaks the pre-market high of 533. And I kind of think that it forced some short sellers to cover, sort of a little liquidity trap. Just all of a sudden shorts are like, uh-oh, I better get out. And they cover. And then some longs chase it. And then what happens? Probably someone dumped like 500,000 shares at the market, just selling a huge position, and boom, it drops. That's my guess. It's a guess, I'm not sure, but there was some huge sellers that went through there and it dropped it. So that was MINM, which is our leading gapper. OMGA, this one I traded early, and I fumbled it a little bit. The thing with this is that I don't even know why I traded it. The float's higher. It is more of a grinder. I got in right here for the break of 550. Now, at that point, you could have been like, oh, look at this blue line. Well, I hadn't drawn that yet. And if I had, I would have been connecting kind of here and here. I usually wouldn't draw a line like that until we've had the pullback, and then I connect the lines. But anyways, so I got stopped out here twice. I took 2 trades on it. I lost like 400 on the first and 500 on the second. So down $926 on OMGA. And yeah, this was annoying. So it drops down. I get stopped out. It comes right back up. And I was like, I'm not going to chase it. It grinds higher. And then it just sort of is a slow fade. Typical of a stock with that float. No surprise. JFBR. This one gave us some opportunities, but was not super clean. So let's see. It started after hours, continues pre-market, and I took my trade at about 7 a.m., and that was right in this area. Again, I got in right here as it was breaking this level. I was like, okay, we're off of VWAP. I took a starter at VWAP, 1,000 shares, and then I added 3,000 as it was coming up. So I had 4,000 shares. I think it was 4,000. And then it drops right here and I had to stop out. So I took a $1,200 loss on that. So my first 2 trades put me in the red, just about $2,000 today. And I was like, okay, you're trading a little early. Slow down, be patient. You've got a lot of time left. But as it turned out, within 15 minutes or so, MINM hit the scanners and was off and running. So just like that, I was able to lock up some profit on MINM and then added to it as it went higher. And yeah, so this ends up being a solid green day. The losses from earlier, water under the bridge, doesn't matter. And, come to think of it, this is actually the first time right now, this moment, that I just thought about where I am relative to the drawdown I had at the end of December. I kind of just hadn't been thinking about that, which is good because you don't want to obsess over it. And part of that's because it's a new month, it's a new year. So it's kind of like, well, whatever happened then is it's done and it doesn't matter. It is what it is, right? It's behind us. Let's focus on moving forward. But as a matter of fact, with these 3 green days so far this year, I am in really good shape. I'm in great shape on the month. I don't actually remember exactly where I finished on Tuesday. I think it was around 5,000. And then yesterday, again, I can't quite remember. I'm kind of like I don't know, not soaking it in deeply when I take the trades, but must have been 3,000 or something like that. So anyways, I think up over 10,000 so far on the month of January. It's a good start. And that recoups probably most of the losses from the end of December. So now my account's kind of back up towards the high and I'm ready to sort of take off some of the restrictions that I had put on myself and start to lean in a little bit. What I'll do tomorrow is I'll export my trades from the first 3 days of January here, so we can kind of actually put it on the chart and map out where I am relative to that drawdown and kind of what the progress looks like. But the fact is, the market is what it is. If there's opportunities, I'll trade, I'll be aggressive. There'll be some opportunity, for me to make money. And if it's slow, there's nothing I can do. So the funny thing today is that we had some great opportunities pre-market and then it died. And I think the problem was, well, we had this big rejection pre-market on MINM right there. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of pre-market. We didn't have anything else that was good. And then we had just red chop. So I think that early birds got the worm today, and people who showed up late might be in the red and trying to dig themselves out of the hole. And there's just not a lot to do. MINM is our leader. OMGA is the second leader. MOBX is the third leader. MOBX, a little annoying, kind of a distraction, stocking away, pops up, drops down, comes back up, drops back down, comes back up. It's choppy. It is a somewhat recent IPO. These can sometimes be good, but this one just didn't happen to be good. JFBR, I already talked about that one. ACET, I don't know, higher float on QS. And then the gap scanner just kind of fades down a bit. So yeah, I suppose we definitely had a couple of good days there, but I'm not sure if you guys are going to see any big action this afternoon. I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. Overall market, S&P 500, back down towards the 20 moving average. So we finished 2023 in great shape. First 3 days, 1, 2, 3 here, a little bit of pullback down to the 20. We could pull back down towards the 200 and we'd still be, fine. But in any case, the overall market's doing its thing. Nothing super exciting to report on there. Just, aware of sort of where we're at. Nice progress. And it'll be interesting to see how the overall market does this year. I think we'll probably see a nice lift. I'm looking at OMGA and I can see a 100,000 share seller at 80 right there on the level 2. So, this is the thing. You got these big sellers coming out, big offers. This just gets crowded. This is difficult to trade. It's difficult to make money on it. So it's good to know when to push it, when to be aggressive, and when to just step back and slow down. So I think for me, the name of the game is to call it a day, lock up, a few good weeks of trading, try to build a cushion on the new year. One of the things that I did that was a little bit of a, it was not great. I think it was last year. I came out of the January swinging hard. I was like, all right, I'm going to set a really strong foundation. And so I was just like hitting everything with big size, but I was churning a lot of commissions and I didn't really make that much money because I was just being so aggressive. I was adding to everything and then things would come back. I'd stop out, break even. And then halfway through the month, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not making progress. We got to get serious here and start to chip away at my gains with base hits. So this year, partly because I was in a little bit of a drawdown and was trading more conservatively the last week of the year in December, I kind of carried that in, and it's just the luck of the draw, but I think it actually was helpful. And so now I'm off to a good start these first few days, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. It wouldn't take much for me to make, a $5,000-$6,000 mistake and give back a full day of profit or a day and a half of profit. So I've got to be patient. Got to focus on the highest quality setups and, put in my time. So I'll be here from, 7 a.m. roughly until 10, 11. If the market is strong and we keep seeing action, I'm happy to trade longer. But once I leave, I'm done and I don't want to come back. So did a great job with that. Well, struggled with it a little bit on Tuesday, but I did follow it. Did a great job with that yesterday, and I'm going to do it again today. So locking it up here with $4,500 of profit in my main account. Another solid green day. $6,700 on MINM, my biggest winner. That one's up 167% right now. Down a little bit off a high of, I think it was over 200%. So good job for those that got green this morning. Stay tuned for the next episode in my small account challenge. That's going to come next week. If you missed yesterday's episode, we'll put a link to that in the top of this video here where you can check it out. Once we cross over 10,000 thumbs up, you will help me unlock a new piece of inventory for that challenge. So for those that didn't check it out already, I'm doing a small account challenge. I've already started it, and I'm limiting myself to using 2 pieces of equipment. This old laptop right here that has not 1, not 2, but 3 broken keys, and this monitor right here, which some of you have commented on, you have very keen eyes. You've observed that it's broken, and you are correct. It is broken. I dropped it on the ground. I did not punch it. I dropped it on the ground, but it took a hard fall, and it's broken. So I was gonna just throw it away, but you know, I don't know. I hadn't. And then I thought, this is perfect. I can use this for the small account challenge, because when I was getting started, I was trading on borrowed laptop. I was using one of those monitors that's like perfectly square, like those really old ones, you know? So I was not using the new fancy stuff, and you gotta be able to make do with what you've got. So I cannot wait to get a new monitor. I will get a new monitor once we cross over 10,000 thumbs up in the small account challenge series. We got 2,300 thumbs up so far on yesterday's video. So I am 23% of the way there to getting a new monitor. So check out that episode, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to force me to reset my account back to $1,000, you can help with that too. Once we cross over 10,000 new subscribers on the channel, and this is measured as of yesterday at the moment we published episode 1. Once we get 10,000 new subscribers, I'll reset my account back to $1,000. So you can help with the reset as well. All right, so we've got the reset and we've got the inventory, so you guys can help participate, and I may give you some opportunities to give give me some direction about how I trade, what kind of stocks I trade, and things like that. So there'll be some more stuff coming soon for this challenge. So check it out if you haven't already. I'll put the video right here, and I'll remind you, as always, that look, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. Certainly trading on a small account is very risky. So take it slow. Practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And as always, don't try to blindly follow me or anyone else. Take it slow, and I'll see you back here first thing tomorrow morning.